Hi, I'm Diane Cometa, and today on Dishin with Di, I'm going to show you how to make my pumpkin pie. Perfect for the fall and around the holidays, and I love it topped with some homemade whipped cream. So let's get started on Dishin with Di. You need some evaporated milk, some canned pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie mix, some eggs at room temperature, some pure vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract, some granulated sugar, salt, and some pumpkin pie spice. Now, this is my own blend of pumpkin pie spice. You can find it on my website, dishinwithdi.com, or you can use your own or store-bought, whatever you prefer. And then I also have my homemade pie crust here. So this was in the fridge chilling for 30 minutes after I rolled it out, and I did the little crimping around the edges. So if you make mine, make sure you do that and put it onto a baking sheet. So this way it's easier to get it in and out of the oven. And the other thing is that you're going to need either some foil or this is a crust protector. You put this around the edges of the crust during like the last 15 minutes if it looks like it's starting to brown too much. Now I have my oven preheating to 425 degrees. So really we're just going to get started, and it's very simple. This is like the greatest thing about fall is making pumpkin pie. It's just so delicious and really easy. Now into a good sized bowl, and I like this because it has a spout on it, and then I'm just going to pour everything in there. You are going to take your dry ingredients and combine those. So get your sugar and put that in along with your pumpkin pie spice. And it's so easy to make this pumpkin pie spice. I usually make like a nice big batch of it so that I have it for my coffee, or you'd love my pumpkin spice latte. That's really good too. And then I'm going to add in some salt. And you have to have salt in your desserts and pastries because it just brings out the flavor. And see, here's what the pumpkin pie spice is in. Isn't that cute? So now we're just going to whisk this together thoroughly. You just want to get it all really well combined, because if you try to add the spices in after you have the liquid in there, they kind of like float to the top. So you just want to get everything really well incorporated with the sugar and the salt. Now we're basically going to dump everything else in. So we have the pumpkin puree here. Now if you wanted to go ahead and do your own homemade mashed pumpkin, and go and get a pumpkin and do that whole bit, you can. But what I found over the years is the flavors of them are just not like really consistent, and the canned pumpkin really is. So you get the nice flavor, and you don't have to worry about all that fuss. So then put the evaporated milk in there, and you just want to make sure you shake this really well. And then we have the eggs. So make sure you leave your eggs out at room temperature. And I'm just going to crack them into this bowl in case I get a shell. And what do you know? I got a shell. And I'm just going to crack them right in here first. See, there's another shell. I'm not doing good with the shells today. But see, that's the nice thing. If you grab it with the shell itself, it comes right out. And then just dump that in, and then vanilla bean paste. I am in love with vanilla bean paste. You could use vanilla extract if you want. And now we're just going to whisk this together very thoroughly. So get your nice whisk, get it really well combined. All right, make sure that all of the sugar is mixed through well. I'm just going to run around the sides and the bottom with my spatula. I'm going to give it another mix through. And then I'm putting it right into my pie crust. Doesn't that look beautiful? Just get that all in there. I always say, why measure things if you're going to leave some behind? Get it all in there, right? Okay, now this is going to go into your 425 degree oven for 15 minutes. Then at 15 minutes, you're going to reduce the temperature to 350 degrees and let that cook for another 40 to 50 minutes. Now, what I said about this protector, put that on at the last 15 to 20 minutes if it looks like it's starting to get too brown. Now to test this, what you would do is take a toothpick and insert it about 1 inch from the edge and take a look at that and see if it's clean. Now if you tried to put the toothpick in the center, it's always going to come out moist, so you're going to end up overcooking your pie. So test it on the side and then leave it out on a rack to cool for a couple hours before you put it in the fridge to chill. But I already made one, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'll be back in a second. Here is my pumpkin pie. I just made this earlier today, and here's a slice I just took out of it. And now what I have over here is some of my homemade whipped cream. And I'll make little swirls like that all around, all the way around, and then usually in the center I'll do another one just like that. And so each person would have like a little bit on the edge of their pie, and then they would have either 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 swirls at the top. And then I have some pumpkin pie spice that I keep in little containers like this, and then I just sprinkle it over the top. So then you have that. It's the perfect combination with pumpkin pie, don't you think? Whipped cream. So let's give it a taste. I can't wait. Nice crust, lots of flavor in the pie, and the whipped cream, like I said, really tops it off. So you can get this recipe and lots more at dishinwithdi.com, and like, subscribe, and share. I look forward to seeing you next time, and I hope I made your life a little easier, more enjoyable, and delicious. Bye-bye now.